everybody, and welcome to another episode of Volusia Flagler Cares. It is a show that puts some spotlight on nonprofit groups, organizations, fundraisers, and events. But today we're going to dive a little deeper into something that normally wouldn't be considered a nonprofit the way that you think of to get clothes for people or to get food or anything like that. But what they do is just as important. And I wanted to share this with you. I met Jodi at an expo at the Port Orange Library. And I mean, she was so passionate. She had such intense knowledge about what she does and how they parse that out all the way along. But today we have Jodi Castaldi from Community Legal Services of Mid-Florida. That's a mouthful, and I hope I got that right.
You did.
But
You did.
and and everybody who's watching, we are going to have QR codes. We're going to have the important phone numbers, the helplines, all of that. So just look at your screen and you'll be able to see those. But right now, we're going to get again deep dive into the legal services and all of that. But it's kind of important for me to what would make you want to get this involved in helping other people in something that most people want to run away from. I mean, I hear legal and I'm out the door.
Honestly, throughout my entire adult career, I've only worked at nonprofits. My husband says it's a fault of mine that I have this incessant need to help people, and he doesn't need my help, unless he needs me to cook his dinner. So I've always worked in nonprofits,
Sure.
traditionally housing. I am a huge advocate for affordable housing, so I was a housing counselor, helping people buy homes and
Oh,
sell homes.
wonderful.
Yeah, for 30 years. And during my time in my last role, I partnered with Community Legal Services um, over the course of 12 years and met some fantastic people. And so when they decided to start a housing counseling unit, I was like, let me go work with these wonderful people. Then I'll have the
Yeah.
attorneys who can help with the eviction and all the other things right in house. So that's where I came from. 15 years ago, my anniversary was Saturday, my 15th year here.
And has
Um,
all of that been here in Volusia,
mhm,
Orange,
yep,
and
yep.
okay,
When
the
I
mid
took the
Florida area?
job, I was in Ocala, which is one of our service areas.
Okay.
But the new role required that I relocate to Volusia. My husband was like, "Yeah, let's go." So here we are.
Nice. Well,
Yep.
we're glad that you're here. And I know that we're getting a high caliber of 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 treatment here because you can't fake passion the way that
Right,
that you
right.
show it. So I guess let's kind of get in. What
Okay,
exactly does the community legal service, what do you provide? What do you do?
okay.
Why do I need you?
Well, first of all, we did because we also thought Community Legal Services of Mid Florida was a mouthful. We are now rebranded as Community Legal Services, so that helps
Oh,
everyone.
okay.
Um,
Nice.
so, so it was really hard when you have to say that over and over again. But so Community Legal Services, we are, we're a legal aid. We're a legal aid organization. There are a network of legal aid organizations serving different populations and different types of law
Mhm.
across the country. We happen to be located in Central Florida, so we serve from Citrus, Marion, and Hernando County all the way across to um, Flagler, Volusia, and Brevard, and everything in between. So we have 12 counties, and we provide no cost legal assistance in civil legal matters. So civil, family law, housing, all the fun stuff. We don't do any traffic. We don't do any criminal. Um, and we don't charge for our services because we write grants to be able to provide these services at no cost. We do have eligibility requirements. And though I'm not an attorney, I'm always going to give you the attorney answer, which is it depends. So we tell
You
people,
already did it to me a couple of times. Yeah, I love
and
it.
so, it really does depend because while we have strict guidelines from our main funder is Legal Services Corporation of America, and that's the federal government.
Uh-huh.
We have strict guidelines with them. And so, but we also write grants through the counties and the cities that we serve. We get grants from the Department of Housing and Urban Development. We get grants from Elder Options and Elder Source, so the Florida Department of Elder Affairs, and all of them have different requirements. So it always depends. I
Oh
tell
yeah.
people we're going to try to get you qualified for your legal issue, especially if you have an issue and you need our assistance. We're going to do our best to make you eligible. But
Hmm.
there's certain, like if I had an attorney today doing a landlord tenant presentation at the library, and it was legal information education, we're not checking anyone's income to just get that as a group. It's when you need that one-on-one and we're getting fact-based information about your case that we're going to do an intake and qualify you for services. But our
Right,
education
right.
events are open to everyone.
Well, it's not only is that a mouthful, but I did go to your website and I did look through some of the different, areas of law and the legal services that just you guys here in the mid Florida area
Mhm.
provide. And
Yep.
I'm just going to run down the list. And is that there's consumer law? What would that be?
So with consumer law, it could be debtor harassment. It could be you're getting sued by a credit card company, your wages are being garnished. It could be a bad contract for a water softener. It could be lots of things. So anything in the consumer, it could be small claims court. Our
Uh-huh.
consumer unit is very robust when it comes to going to court or helping folks um, file their answers pro se. So being able to do it themselves, but we help them draft it. We walk them through the process. But yeah, our consumer unit covers a whole bunch of bankruptcy, lots of things.
Well, that was one of the things I was going to say. And then, but getting into something like that, you've got people, eviction. Is
Mhm.
that anything that you guys would also
Yes, so
handle?
our housing unit, we have an entire unit that handles landlord tenants. We're also the experts on subsidized housing. Like most private attorneys aren't really gonna worry about somebody who might be being evicted from Section 8 housing choice voucher or public housing or a low income tax credit
Right,
property because they may not have the money to pay the lawyer fees. Uh, but there's also a bunch of information and contract guidelines and all of the fun federal things that go along with those types of properties. So our housing attorneys are experts in those, understanding the defenses and what the rules are and when something needs to happen. So, but we do landlord tenant, we do code enforcement issues, um, anything that goes along with trying to keep people housed.
right. And the fair housing.
Yeah, so we have an entire unit where we just the anything for the if you feel you're being discriminated in the sale or rental of a property, then we can come in and take a look at that. We can send testing out to make sure that yeah, that
Mhm.
is happening, and maybe it's not just happening to you. Maybe it's happening to a whole population
You
of
know,
people.
I'm a realtor,
Hmm.
and what is this, 2025?
Hmm.
You would not think that anything like that would even happen or that it's something to think about. And unfortunately, it absolutely
Yep.
is. You got to
Yep.
cover your butt. And as a
Mhm.
realtor, you have to cover your customers' butt, sometimes without them knowing it, just to, make sure it all lines up and that, it works out.
Correct. Yep, yep. So our fair housing unit is awesome. A lot of what we do is education, educating
Mhm.
people so that they understand what the protected classes are, make sure that they don't feel discriminated against and that
Sure.
they understand where they shouldn't feel discriminated against. So,
Well, you also do heirs and property rights.
yeah,
That's
that's
kind
our
of into
newest
the
unit.
real estate.
Yeah. That's our newest unit, and that's just we have a lot of, especially here in Florida, we have a lot of generational wealth
Oh yeah,
that's not protected. You can't just hand over your house, leave your house on a napkin to your great granddaughter. There are things that need to happen, and we
yes,
run into that a lot, especially because we also assist with disasters and legal needs after a disaster. And I'm just going to use Volusia County and Hurricane Ian as an example. We have a
right,
lot of people who had damage from Hurricane Ian in some of our older, more established neighborhoods, but because they don't have clear title, or the property wasn't transferred on through the legal system,
right, or
they
a
can't
lien
get
on it.
they can't get the help from the county or the city to get their roof replaced, or to help with the flooding issues, because that requires a clear title to show ownership.
Right. Oh yeah.
So we work with those groups, just to both educate them on the proper way to pass the properties on, and then to be able to provide that assistance if needed, to be able to help make sure that that property is now
Well, that
transferred.
segues right into that you guys provide advice for disaster relief.
Yeah. So we have a new
That would be
unit
a moving target all the way around.
all over the place. Yeah. And disasters come in all shapes and sizes.
Yeah.
It could be a tornado, but for us, I think a lot of our work focuses on hurricanes. We're in Florida.
Okay.
Um, and but we do, usually if there's a storm, we're one of those people. If you go to a disaster recovery center, we're going to have a table there, to provide information on folks, because they're not thinking, if your home, your roof is ripped off, you don't have power, it's hot, the last thing you're thinking about is my roofer going to take advantage of me? Um, but we make sure that they have our information, because 3 months, 6 months down the road, that's when the legal issues may
Sure.
start coming. So yeah, so our disaster unit helps with FEMA appeals. They help just people understand what the FEMA process is, what the application process is, but not just FEMA, with your homeowner's insurance, or you didn't have homeowner's insurance or flood insurance, or what all of that looks like. So um, yeah, they're pretty busy even during non-hurricane seasons, because we're still working on cases from Ian, because it's
Oh
not
yeah.
something that
I've
happens
seen to
overnight.
where, and they may just go ahead and cut off the spigot,
Right,
but
right.
or that's it's being tossed around.
Hmm.
But I mean, as if that isn't enough stuff.
Hmm.
Uh, tell me what a medical legal partnership is.
Oh, you're going to make me say all of the words I can never pronounce. So, a medical legal partnership. I think we have four of them right now. But
Okay.
it's where we embed an attorney in a medical clinic, to help see the social determinants to health. So, is there a mold issue? Did they lose their social security? What is causing them to keep coming back to this clinic? Maybe it's a legal issue, and can we help with it? Um, it's
Okay.
it's something that we're still, hopefully going to continue to grow and maybe make it more of a community legal partnership,
Sure.
um,
But
because it
that
makes sense.
information,
Mhm,
that data, I mean, I've worked for, time management and efficiency. Sometimes
mhm.
that's actually the smart play as far
Right,
as like getting the patient out, getting your money collected, doing all of this versus not finishing up, taking the
right,
shortcut, doing,
right.
I mean,
And
it's
plus, you establish a relationship with people when you are their doctor, their nurse, their
sure,
clinical, their social worker. And so if we can train them too on being able to figure out what those legal issues are. So do any type of legal issue spotting, so that they can be like, you know what, I think this person would be a great fit for, maybe they have a landlord tenant issue, maybe there's some issues with the way that their
yeah,
property is being cared for. And can we then help, uh, you know, get them back on the road to recovery or whatever that might look like.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
again, we're segueing and segueing, but that also goes into, I mean, everybody, Florida is God's waiting room, and older adults are being victimized at,
Mhm.
I would have to say, an increasing rate with the internet and some of these cyber crimes. Uh, so that, I mean, how do you help them? I mean, really, that's
Our older adults program does a ton of things. They handle all of the areas of law that we cover,
Mhm.
but now for seniors. But they also do a lot of like estate planning, wills, advance directives,
Oh,
power
okay.
of attorney, um, uh, you know, everything that that kind of includes. But, and I'm going to steal her thunder, but our managing attorney for our older adults program tells us all the time it is someone's job in this world to separate you from your money. That's their only job. And they will
Yeah.
do that with a phone call, with a click, with whatever it is, and they're going to be the kindest, nicest person on the face of the earth when they're talking to you because they really just want your money. Um, I have my parents, my husband, I have everybody scared to click on anything because I hear this all the time from her when I have her out. Yep. I'm like, do not click on it. Turn over your debit card and call the number. Don't just believe that Bank of America is calling you. And I don't know why I called out Bank of America, but maybe because that's where I bank. But
They really are. They are so prevalent. It had somebody
and they
call.
know so much about you.
My
It's
mom answers the
unbelievable.
phone, and it's a young male
Right.
saying, Grandma, I've just been in a wreck. They're going to arrest me, and I need you to send me this money. And, you
Mhm.
know, sure, where do we go? Gosh,
Right.
we're on
Right.
our way to the bank right now. And
Yep.
yet it was, and thank God they called my sister,
Mhm.
who said, let me call. She didn't know either. She was like,
Yep.
did he get in a wreck or something?
Yep.
And sure enough, he's like, "What are you talking about?" They're like,
Yep.
"Uh-oh."
Mhm.
So yeah, it's just terrible.
We do a lot of education, especially in our senior communities. So that could be a congregate dining site. It could be, we'll come out to communities and talk to you in your, or when you're having your luncheons or whatever. But just
Right.
more of a like be on the lookout for like what are the current scams? How do you avoid them? We all when in doubt,
Sure.
hang up. Don't answer the text. Don't reply to the email.
Exactly.
Uh,
Yeah.
I tell
If
my
it's
mother all the
important,
time.
official, they'll find you.
Yep, and I tell my mother all the time, the Social Security Administration is never going to call you. They're going to send you a letter, snail mail always. So do not believe the person on the other end of the phone.
Well, one and that has to be stamped in to everybody. And it's, again, it's a sign of the times. It's
Mhm.
unfortunate, but it really is a fact that we have to deal with.
Yep, yep. And people get
Uh,
so nervous because it might be their only source of income, or, they might only have $500 in their bank account, and now someone's telling them that someone's trying to steal it.
yeah,
So they just
or
become
that
very
it's
scared.
already gone.
Right, right.
And again, I told you I'm in real estate. Had a client that it was a pretty large property, and I called the title company that morning that it was supposed to come in, and I said, like, hey, it's already 10:30. Where's my receipt? Where's all of this? And they're like, hasn't shown up yet. So I called the guy. I'm like, dude, what's the deal? He goes, what are you talking about? I sent that to you at 9 o'clock this morning. I'm like,
Hmm.
what? And he actually sent me a copy of an
Yep.
email that came from me
Hmm.
to him, telling him that the address, or the routing number had changed to this new routing number. And when it was finally Interpol and the FBI, they said it was there for 2 seconds at a
Hmm.
bank in Toronto.
Yep, yep.
Gone.
Yep. I had that happen to
So
a friend. She sent
hit it. Yeah.
$96,000 nowhere.
Yeah.
Um, And it was
And that's what
literally
burns
that. It
you
was
even
just
more.
a, yep, it was just a phone call that morning or an email saying the number has changed. Now you need to wire the money this way. So, yep.
Well, I'm really glad that there's somebody at least, who kind
Yeah,
of
we
out.
try to provide the education so that folks are
Yeah.
aware, be that little person on your shoulder being like, ask more questions or hang up and call your bank or call the title company. Don't trust that, that email. Um,
Now, let me ask you this. Does when and I don't know for qualifying, but when you guys handle things like that or public benefits or like Social Security, I would assume,
Mhm.
I mean, do you have a division that does that? I mean, that's kind of getting specialized.
Yep. So we have our public benefits unit. So our public benefits unit assists with Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security, SSI,
Mm,
food stamps, all the benefits, unemployment. A lot of times it's not with that initial application. There's a bunch of agencies who can assist with that. It's usually because maybe they got that their benefits are being cut or an overpayment letter. That's when we can come in, take a look at the facts, see what we can assist with. And then our public benefits unit also houses our veterans unit. So our veterans, we have
okay.
a veterans unit that can assist with discharge upgrades. They can assist with any changes, any surviving spousal benefits, anything that the family needs that we might be able to assist with.
Well, that's wonderful. I'm
Mhm.
really glad. I'm a veteran too, and love to hear that they're taking, especially for, again, sometimes I go out to the VA clinic
Mhm.
and there really are some people there that if they didn't have people looking out for them, they would
Right.
I mean, there's no doubt that they would be falling by the wayside.
Absolutely.
Um, so how does all of this work together in all of these counties to contribute to economic development? And how do you help out on that side?
So, community economic development is a statewide initiative. It's actually run by another legal aid down south, Legal Services of Greater Miami. So, we lovingly refer to them as LSGMI. Everybody has an acronym. So, LSGMI has a statewide application portal. So, if somebody was trying to start a nonprofit or they have a nonprofit and their targeted audience is like either to help preserve or start affordable housing or to help serve low to moderate income households, um, then we can come in and help. Maybe it's to help them start get their articles of incorporation or their bylaws, or maybe we help them review contracts. There's a lot of things that can come with that. So we have one of the attorneys who is assigned cases from LSGMI as they come in through their portal.
Yeah, I have a partner who wants to create a tiny house village. I can't believe that nobody's doing this. And you know what it all is? It's density laws.
Right, right, right. And it's the NIMBYism, the not in my backyard. So I
Have
sit
you
on
seen
the
some of those
affordable
houses?
housing. hmm
They look
Yeah,
a
I
lot
sit on an
better
affordable
than the
housing.
houses that they'd be going next to.
Right, right, absolutely. And usually when there's a nonprofit involved, there's more
Yeah.
oversight. There's
Yeah.
there's more
Well, like
wraparound
Habitat
services.
for Humanity
Right.
and
Yep. Yep.
well,
Yep. A lot of education goes into making those homeowners. And so usually um they're just a great group of people and you want them to be your neighbors. So
well, yeah, yeah.
Mhm,
I
mhm.
I know I do, but now I want to get into. We've kind of run through the list of what you do, why you do it. How in the heck do you recruit and get attorneys to do all of this for free? I mean, aren't they like $350 an hour type of people?
They can be, they can be. And before I forget, just because it is our largest unit, we also do family law. So
Oh, okay.
we do a lot of usually we do a lot of clinics where we help people review their forms that they're before they submit them to the courts, child support, visitation, time sharing, paternity, all that fun stuff. So we, Community Legal Services, we have our own attorneys. So we have our own attorneys on staff. Uh, our um, our legal helpline, which is our centralized point of intake, everything comes through there. So when it comes through the helpline, an intake is provided, and then one of our helpline attorneys, who are all generalists, they will provide advice on the reason for the call, the call. So maybe it's a landlord tenant issue. But if they
Mhm.
determined that during that call that there's a priority for that, or the unit is looking for those types of cases, or the unit has the bandwidth to take those types of cases, then they refer it in-house for additional assistance. Now we cover 12 counties, so we can't do it all. And that's where all of those pro bono attorneys come in. We have a very robust um, team of volunteer attorneys who volunteer across our 12 counties. Some of them might just do one case a year. Some of them do just education, so legal education for a couple of hours at the library, whatever.
Right.
And some of them will do 400 hours. Um, and it really just depends. But for those attorneys, we recruit them by one, we provide them with training if it's a new area of law or something they're not super comfortable with. We have a peer academy so they can join us and learn about landlord tenant or learn about family law. We have
Well,
experts
that
who
that
will.
was one thing I wanted to ask you about
Mhm.
because that was just, I thought, an absolutely fabulous idea to, I don't know if the way that you said it was to where attorneys that may not have proficiency in an area of law can be in a group and almost get mentored
Yep.
and ask questions. And that's, I mean, what an unbelievable opportunity. They don't even have that in law school.
No, it really is a great opportunity. It's something we started a couple of years ago. And it was the brainchild, I guess, of our past director of pro bono. So it's the Claude B. Nelson Peer Academy, and he's no longer a part of the firm, but we have established this peer academy, and folks can come in and learn all these new areas of law, but not only will we put them with experts and have them be mentored by staff and other volunteer attorneys who have
Mhm.
already, shown that this is their specialty and they want to help other people, but then we're going to put them to work almost immediately after they graduate from the peer academy and make sure that all those skills they just picked up, they don't forget about. We'll put you to work with a quickness. Uh,
Right. Well, but you know what? You are right, though. It's the worst thing is to learn something new and then stop doing it.
Right, right. So we will develop, I mean, our pro bono team is the in-house team is incredibly attentive to what the pro bono attorneys need. They're giving us their time and their knowledge. So we need to make sure that we're helping them. We're not making this a difficult process, that we're helping them along the way, and making sure they have everything they need. And that includes we give them malpractice insurance. They're underneath our malpractice insurance, so they don't even have to use their own. Um, we have, all the tools, all of the paralegals, we have all the fun stuff that they might need so that they're comfortable in taking that case for us at no cost. And then anything through our pro bono does have to qualify through our federal programs because that's what funds our pro bono teams. So they do have to be qualified through our Legal Services Corporation grant. So what happens is that we start people at 200% of the federal poverty level based on their family size or household
Mhm.
size, and then we can spend them down to our required 125%. But we used to nickel and dime it down, but now it's like, do you pay out of pocket for rent? Do you pay out of pocket for a mortgage? Do you pay out of pocket for insurance? Then that's a yes. Okay, let's get you an intake and then get you assigned to an attorney. So
Right.
attorneys can visit our website if they're interested in volunteering with us. First of all, find a ton of information on the areas of law that we do cover, but also be able to, they can sign up to take a case. They can sign up for a peer academy. everything you can do, they can visit the website and they can do all of those things right there. Or they can just click on that they want some more information, and somebody from the pro bono team would reach out to them. But we're always looking. I think every week our pro bono director is like, and if you know any family law attorneys who want to come and volunteer with us, because it's just an area of law that we get.
Sure.
Even the majority of our cases that come in are family law cases. So
Well, everybody who's watching, if you know somebody who's an attorney, you got to hit them up and you have to tell them there's this just great, great organization that is really helpful from children and family law all the
mhm.
way to elder care and
Yep, yep.
wills and trusts. Although no, you don't do that, right? Yeah,
No,
that would
well, I'm
be
not going to say we don't. It's going to depend. There's always an maybe or an if, or it depends on the bandwidth of the
yeah, or at
attorney, and
least
then
steer
also,
somebody in the right direction.
right, we're always going to give legal information. So, but the beauty part, one of the things that we learned during the pandemic, because the pandemic was something that we needed to tackle, but we also embraced part of it by figuring out how can we provide our services virtually now. Like, what can we do?
Yep.
And it just opened up the door so that if we have a pro bono attorney who lives in, Flagler, but wants to help with this one particular case and it happens to be in Hernando County, they don't have to drive 2.5 hours. We can
Right.
meet them using Teams or Zoom. We create a meeting room for them to meet one on one with their client. We take care of the gathering of paperwork and all of those things. So we make it work, and that was our silver lining during the pandemic is we became professionals
Yeah,
at that.
every that pandemic, every nonprofit had to pivot
Hmm.
and get into telecommunications
Yep, yep,
or fall by the wayside.
right.
It was, at
Yeah, we
the
figured out how
well,
to make it work because you have to. And the
exactly.
legal issues didn't go away during the pandemic. As a matter of fact, they probably doubled. So
Yeah,
we were
I
able
like
to
that.
to make
Yep.
it work and come in and help as many folks as we could, and also make it so that our pro bono attorneys felt more comfortable taking cases all
Right.
across our service area because now they could.
Well, how does somebody qualify and what are the costs?
So there is never a cost ever. You have to be eligible for one of our grants. So it's always going to depend. I tell people all the time, just call. So the 1-800 number, which is 1-800-405-1417, that's our helpline.
Right there on the
So,
screen.
so the helpline is, like I said, our centralized point of intake. They begin taking calls at 8:30 in the morning, Monday through Friday. I think Tuesdays and Wednesdays are our late night, so they are taking calls until 6. Um, and then, but they'll qualify them for services. If there's, if it's something we cannot assist with, we're always going to send them away with a resource. That resource might just be to call the Florida Bar referral line if there's nothing else we can do for them.
Right.
Or, visit our website because our website does have a chat bot. So it just helps you navigate the website. If there's something particular you're looking for, you don't have to try to find it on your own. You can go to the website and use the chat feature, and you'll be able to
That's
find the landlord tenant issues,
that's
information, or yeah,
the legal access for
for
all.org.
all. Yep, yep.
Awesome. Yeah, we'll put that up there. Everyone can go ahead and see it and click on it. Um,
And we have
and
an
then
online application as well. So if somebody can't get through to the helpline, or if they're like, I really have to apply right now while I'm thinking about it and it's 10 p.m., they can visit the website and
yeah,
apply online, and we will make a call out to them to do the intake. Obviously the helpline is the best way because you get an attorney right away. But
mhm,
it does take a while to get through because we cover 12 counties. And also the online application will kick you out if there's like an emergency. If it's a court hearing and you need to get through right away, we can't take that that through the online portal. We need you to call the helpline.
well, uh, Jody, it is. I have been educated. I have really, it's one thing to like have an idea of something, but it's another to be not overwhelmed, but just pleasantly surprised at
Mhm.
not only what you guys provide, but the way that you provide it, the outreach that you have. um, I love it. I'm glad that you were able to join us.
Me
Really,
too.
it meant a
I
lot.
love talking about community legal services. It's
It
literally
is
what I get paid to
obvious.
do.
It is. It is obvious. Great passion. Again, that's what drew me to you. It was like, okay, we need to talk.
And that's
So,
why we're out in our communities because people don't know about us and you don't know what you don't know. So let me just give me some
right.
people and I'll tell you all about us. But
And for sure, I definitely, we're going to get you speaking at some of the Kiwanis clubs, and they always want a speaker, and the only problem is narrowing down what you want to talk about because
right,
you have so much stuff that you get involved in.
right,
Unbelievable.
yep.
Fantastic.
Well, and our website's full of a ton of information. So again, people should visit it. But it also has an events calendar. So we do legal clinics virtually and in person, and they're always listed on our website. So
Okay.
folks can go to the event section. And so every week we have a family law clinic, we have a bankruptcy clinic, and they can do it virtually. And then we also have clinics throughout our counties. But all that information is found on our website. There's just a ton of information on our website. So
And we have that for you right here. So click on it and go find, go help yourself is really what
yep,
it's all about.
yep,
Well,
yep.
Jodi, thank you for appearing on our show. We, if you want to come up, if there's any updates, love to have you. Your passion is felt, and I am so glad that, our dollars are being, watched over and managed by somebody who's really applying it and cares about what happens. So thank
Well,
you.
thanks for having me. This was awesome. So thank you. I'll come back anytime.
Our pleasure. All right. Thanks. All right, everybody. We'll see you next week on Volusia Flagler Cares. Take care. Be nice. Bye bye.